Chill here with Sirius Dallas Moon. This is Soul Hour Mercury. Nay, Soul Night. And the Sun is 29 degrees Libra. Now, Midheaven 29 degrees Capricorn. Ascendant 14 degrees Taurus. And Venus 10 degrees Libra. Now, Neptune is in Pisces, which is such a different atmosphere. I love that. I probably am going to miss facets of Neptune in Pisces. Not all of them, but definitely there's something that is just different. Okay, it's Piscean. It's just so Piscean. Um, so I hope you are enjoying the energies of Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and I hope, well, I will not get to do Talisman of Neptune in Pisces because of the proximity of Saturn. But this would be, you know, a good time to pull the Neptune creams and body butters, and anybody that has anything from that era. I once ordered a Neptune talisman and then it got missing. And then I got a compensation. I bought something I really wanted to buy for a long time. But that was, yeah, but something in me still misses that Neptune. So those of you who sell talismans, Neptune talismans, can go missing. Well, I had a little bit of eureka around Saturn in Aries. And I don't know if it's the Saturn-Neptune or Saturn. And this is going to be a very unusual regulation, because Saturn is accountability, and for example, Saturn ingressing into Pisces, I have to have accountability for, you know, learning to treat certain things in my body and life path, but also Saturn to Aries. And this is going to be very challenging, but there's going to be some sort of something revolutionary where I don't know by what, but let's say Saturn Aries is karma to the arm industry. Okay? And is there going to be some sort of. Now, here's the thing. Aries is innovation, a patent. So with Saturn, they're going to. Something is going to be around those that manufacture weapon. Either they're going to have regulations, or there's going to be karma. I don't know what type, I don't know what type of karma, okay, or there's going to be, it can be rebellion. Even people raiding weapon companies. Because if there's going to be like a great war, kind of like a World War I type of situation, then there's going to be people raiding weapon companies. Because and now particularly because I talked about the classified projects, but with Neptune, Saturn, they can be like real war, like a big war, and um, and and they're all, as in any war, there are like the people that are pacifists, but here it's going to be like a revolution thingy. And so there is, I remember 7th of October, for example, there was, they had to open the shelters, so one shelter was filled with weapons, stolen weapon that they sell in the black market. But here, oh, Saturn Aries is black market. Saturn black, Aries trade. Also Saturn Virgo, Saturn Gemini, because it's trade, or Saturn Libra, okay? But Saturn Aries, yes. Um, Saturn black, uh, Aries markets, okay? But black markets. But also weapon industry. um, and so there's going to be both. I think it's going to be controlling of like events, certain events to the all the things that went, all the weapons that went missing, because Neptune Aries is weapon going missing. It is, particularly bunkers, because if you think about an underground structure that's set in stone, that's supposed to be safe in times of war. Saturn Neptune. It's just, um, bunkers can go missing. I have no idea how did that happen. But it's something that or exploding bunkers. But I feel more, not more. It's like one thread that is completely like, oh my God, they're going to raid. Because Uranus is what do people raid? With Uranus in Taurus, there was a convoy. Because Taurus, it's a fixed sign, so the revolution looked like trucks that stop by and preserve food in the COVID. Or the farmers' revolution, and they put a tractor as this shovel thing in it. Okay, um, so that's they threw tomatoes at some museum photos. Um, but but I think Uranus in Gemini, they will raid like cities. Um, Gemini civil society, factories and sextile with Saturn will be Aries factories that make weapons. And with Neptune it can be like weapon. Um, the weapon that they use to target individuals, the factories that make that weapon, um, because it's something. Neptune is like stealth, surveillance. It is, and so um, the Saturn is the structure of the buildings of the weapon factories, particularly the hidden one like intelligence. Yeah, oh, is ook the safety houses where the heads of and Saturn is bureaucrat, secretariat van armee. Okay, dit ook is is possible. And um, Mutsavim, which is like the army where they build like they're like safety spots. It both means that they're going to build, but with Saturn and Neptune, they're gonna. Oh, they probably will explode a lot of, those things they put in the ground and then somebody walks on them and then poof. So that's. They also call it mines. I don't. They mine people like. For example, if there's a story after, I think 67, then Israel conquered the Middle East. But they put so many mines in the Golan Heights around those that nobody could walk in the area. It's like we conquered land, but nobody could travel there, live there, because they had to explode and I think there are still fields with mines. Unfortunately, Saturn Neptune might be some exploding mines, um, but Aries is new, so they might build new. Okay, so, um, um, and also where they mine the minerals, they might be raiding or exploding the places where they mine the minerals as a part of like employees' revolution. I predicted there's going to be employees' revolution in the mineral industry. That's Uranus said now. And no, this is funny. My parent has Gemini in the sixth house, and we have a cat that begins to make a revolution. The sixth house is pets, and the cat begins to turn everything mess around, big mess, and so on. And that's kind of like what's happening. I'm like, I'm glad that this is the manifestation because it's also house of physical health. So, um, what's more? Oh, the Pentagon is coming up a lot. I don't know why. Because Pluto is classified. You see, a lot of things that with Saturn and Neptune, everything that was still hidden, they have to rejuvenate it. Because, yes, there's something, because there's also going to be like a new internet, a new satellite, new technologies. So, it's kind of like the internet. What did people look for in the net.com bubble? Okay. They were looking for all the things they saw in the X-Files episode. I was seeing X-Files for the standalones, so. But other people, they're like, Area 51, aliens encounters, and this, that. And then they would look for that in the satellite pictures and YouTuber. There's the Yes YouTube channel that travels to all kinds of places that are not, that are kind of like not supposed to. um, um, so, in the net.com with Neptune, they were hacking into the Pentagon. But Pluto, but Neptune is going to be in Aries. It's boots on ground. And Pluto Aquarius is going to be like people like, secret societies and so on. That we're going to be, I think they're going to be rebelling because they're not going to get paid for the classified projects. I'm not joking. And they're going to raid the Pentagon for their salaries, but they can't say it, so they will say something else. This is the return of the can't say it. Um, there's also going to be implication for the surveillance projects, because the mass global surveillance, um, yes, whether it's a targeted individuals or just any, I know that in England there's like, is England still on the map? um, yeah, they did something with the digital ID and freedom of speech, and these guys are not Americans. They actually do something. No, yeah, no. Just think, since 1776, how many times should we, the people of the United States, we the people, okay, should have absolutely raided the White House and the Pentagon and bombarded the thing to extinction? and, and since 1776, it didn't happen. And so the place is rusty. They're gonna have to rejuvenate what is set in stone. And yeah, um, yes, maybe some of my American folks can correct me about it. But even with the civil wars and all that, like they didn't actually, you know, they didn't go full mode Nepal or something like that. And um, and this is where there was, by the way, somebody saying that there was in England a plan to divide China into four, the four wings. I don't know. Well, I don't know why four. Is it like a is it like a lucky number or something? Yeah. Um, anything more for this Saturn Neptune? I think the pacifism, okay, is going to look quite. How should I say it? Because Aries is a fire sign, so um, yes, it's, but Neptune brings the extremities of like pacifism and crusades. So this is not new. Um, and with Aries, the head of something, it can be old head carters of bureau. Yeah, exploding. With Uranus, it's always, um, there is something about Neptune in retrograde in the end of Pisces that is, it's almost reminding me like before the net.com bubble, like the 96, 97. It's a weird atmosphere in the air. Like it's something nostalgic with something new. Um, kind of like before the breaking of the internet. I know there's this AI and so on, but it's something like industrial revolution. I mean, of course, the signs are there. Industrial revolution, but something that reminds me of the times where they're coming up with the first computer. The first, Aries is the first, so there's gonna be a lot of the first, but the uptick of technology. The first, I don't know, flying house. Um, it's going to be also the first wave of a new movement. Aries is the first, Neptune is wave, Saturn is history. The first wave of a new movement. I don't know what movement. The first wave of a new movement. Um, is atmosphere, good energy, something new is in the air. I don't know why. It's almost like, this 29 degrees, almost like it's on the minute, and it's almost like you feel Aries, but from Pisces. It's a new, everything is new, but I see it from the Pisces, and it's new and old, and um, yes, I need to paint. I don't know. Uh, probably, probably I will paint a big painting. Maybe even the biggest painting of my life. That's how I feel. Um, I don't know why. Need to buy painting. Painting. I don't have any particular idea. Just the spark of creation. Um, um, Poetry. something very big. Um, to live my life undisturbed. This is something that many people want. To live my life undisturbed. Many people want it about their own life. To live my life undisturbed. You know, Aries is the live and let live sign. And many people want to live their lives undisturbed. It's just one of those like historical moments. With Neptune, you actually feel the energy of the real myth and the myth that is real. But it's not something that is particularly egoic. There's just a spirit of big changes. There's just a spirit of um, it's not a mimicry of the dream. And it's also something that needs to be removed. Big structure. But this is before Aries. Big religious structure, orthodox patriarchy. The moldy patriarchy in spirit and in matter. And I think in Pisces, like the wave, the consciousness, the beliefs, okay? Seems like megalithic removal of a very big fungal structure that affects the collective nervous system. For example, when they invaded Gaza, okay, before they invaded Gaza City, it was just the beginning, there was a fungal soil. Oh, I know that there's like a spread of viral fungi and so on, but I think that they're going to attack the core of that. Because there is actually a threat of invasive fungal. They did a lot of experimentation in fungi, and that's part of the residue. Um, but certain fungi are going to be removed. Molds, okay. And those molds are associated with everything that bothers the nervous system and the architecture. It's kind of like before they set in stone, they have to remove but it's not what people plan. There are plans, but it's not, and I'm not saying that they're not going to do the plans, but is not what people plan. People plan something and it's not what they plan. I don't know how to say that. Neptune is not going to be what people planned for it to be. It's wave. And because with Pisces, there are things that we are, that they have a nice atmosphere and so on, and things that are like, that there's helplessness. But in Aries, people come out of that helplessness and they, with the sextile with Uranus. Oh, Uranus is going to be in Taurus in the beginning. Oh, that's why. Because there are still things that are in the system of the soil, fungi in the system of the soil, and the dead bodies upon dead bodies, mass graves. Now, but uh, this is why. What was not honoring of the land and land, yin, what did not allow people to relax, is removed from the land. Something that kept them in perpetual trauma, the land vomits. I don't know if it's like volcanic, because they're engineering many things, but it's kind of like the land is kind of like a sudden outbreak. I don't think earthquake necessarily. There probably will be earthquakes, but something way more than that. Um, because something that we were helpless about in Pisces, that sextiles Taurus, it's like, how should I say that? Imagine there is like, with a targeted individual, somebody is targeted and then they're poked, and they don't know too much what to do. Let's take it the core issue, then they bomb the entire thing, and then for this nuclear residue. But it's not nuclear bomb. They're oh. Where does it the bomb? Okay, it can be earthquake, but it's not standing in the requirements for earthquake. Is nuclear waste. Nuclear Pluto is trash. Nuclear waste sites. That takes all of the things that were poking and poking and poking. and they have to do with nuclear waste. Places of incarceration, Saturn can also be. Now, for those who are like, yeah, is it a world war? Yeah, we were in a world war, everybody knows. And people keep thinking in cycles. Yes, what was is what will be, and so on. Yes, but not exactly. They're always. And with this Uranus in last degrees of Taurus, is like this boom of like 84 years not have seen. $84. And Chiron at the end of Aries is healing something about sovereignty, identity. With Aries. Oh, I saw beta per se now. It was approaching beta per se when I talked about uh, alcohol. You know, it is like there's going to be situations where people like all their lives they went through a lot, and now it's like everything comes out, but at the right time, at the right place, and towards the right causers. But it's not going to be this planned. It's just like boom, 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 kills, what not, da 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 da, da dead bodies. And then it's like, oh, it was exactly for the right people died, the right, but it's not planned. Kind of like what was around the Me Too, but it's like also 2007 is eruption of is this eruption of things, but is something is not stoppable. Unstoppable, but it's not about not stoppable even. It's something that's not. It's not like people would say, people would have visuals like the grotesque, how should I say it? For these grotesque bodies and so, nothing like that. Because this is way more, way more. And it's not something that some detailed, meticulous thing can accentuate. It's this boom, this no margins to this boom. No margins to this boom. Not from the sense of nobody's coming to save you, no one to run. No, no margins. There's no margins to this boom. Because Aries is the marginalized and Chiron is healing the wound around marginalized. No margins to this boom. It's not a marginal thing. It's not a detailed, meticulous, like a ritual, with the bodies and. It's an all-encompassing, megalithic explosion of reality. And the many people that have warned, is what I'm saying. Certain people are used to create a bombs, but this one is no margins. Nuclear residue. People try to create timelines while they're tortured. Kind of like Alandras. They are going to explode the torturing projects. So they're not going to torture like do a ritual. They're going to explode the rituals It's almost like the entities that created the world wars collapse. Because they are the ones that created those situations where people and the world is cleansing Ketu in Virgo from is cleansing from the lower astral altogether. Not invoking, cleansing. It's not like the First World War or the Second one. The world is cleansing from the lower astral. Cleansing. Because they see what the problem and they cleanse from what the core of the issue is. What on purpose maintained violations, perpetual war? What on purpose maintained harming of the children, the women, the sacrificing, all those things? And they cleanse that from entire earth. Because people cannot anymore and not even in the margins. Okay? It's not because Aries is about somebody feeling at the margins of society. But here is not the problem with Chiron Aries. They don't feel that they are at the margins of society. They feel like the entire society is supposed to be at the margins. And all of those timelines that they forcibly try to create, they go boom with everything, like from the Pentagon. I don't know why Pentagon. Any form of incarceration, slavery timelines. They try on purpose to create slavery timelines. Those that create those slavery timelines, they go boom, all of them. Those that create the slavery timelines, they're trying to create those slavery timelines. And what they don't see is not that they will be the enslaved or something like that. No, it was like boom, everything explodes. You know, when there was the prison cell experiment, all the prisons go boom. No prison cell experiment. Not the same aristocracy, not the same oil family. but not even like the Spanish flu, something way bigger. Because Satan Aries, they usually say, no one is coming to save you. Yes, but that should also mean no one is coming to enslave you. And those that come to enslave, no one is coming to save them. Oh, I feel one thing can also be is like the people that were told nobody's coming to save. Let's say they would enslave people, and those people that were enslaved would enslave more people, and then instead of keep saying nobody's coming to save you, it's like the telos goes to different, and then everybody coming to their bosses, nobody's coming to save you, and the children to their commanders, I don't know, the children to their commanders, nobody's coming to save you, something like that, and then but everybody is going towards the ones that give the orders, like nobody's coming to save you, and those that speak that to the people that are not looking to incarcerate anybody, instead of them speaking this, they hear it back to themselves and back to themselves and back to themselves. It's like how should I say that? Saturn can be prison with Neptune imprisonments, and they attempt to build new imprisonments, but also the prison structure breaks, and it's it's a cognitive structure. But the people that were programmed in incarceration, the program is gebruikt. The programming of the programming of the incarceration is breaking.